Okay, guys, we are live. Hi, Kat. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Um, well, first about streaming. So this particular stream, I have like I scheduled it like a few days ago, and I've been delaying this stream for like multiple days. Um, and I guess it's like, um, it's because I don't want stuff like this to happen. Because when I'm streaming, a lot of times I just can't think of the right words to say, or I just really am not feeling it, and I'm not in the mood to be live streaming. But I mean, you know what they say, right? I mean, it's like a blue pill cliche, but it's kind of true. If you keep waiting for the perfect time to start, then you're never gonna start because there's no fucking perfect time, right? So you just gotta like do the work when you don't feel like it. And right now, I don't exactly feel, in the best, sharpest state of mind for live streaming because sometimes I experience, short periods of high mental clarity that is very, very well suited for live streaming on YouTube. But now is not that time. So, like the words aren't flowing from my mouth, my mind as smoothly as I would hope. But like I look, guys, I promised you that I would be streaming today, and so I promised you guys that I would be streaming today, and I also streamed with Clowntown and Drathan, fellow BP YouTubers, yesterday, and man, I forgot what I was gonna say, dude. Cat says, "There's no perfect time. Just get your ass in motion." Yeah, some solid self improvement advice here. Oh man, I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Okay. Well, at least I have notes for the stream. Well, here's the thing about my streams though. Like lately, my streams have been getting higher and higher effort. So I've been putting a lot more efforts into making slides and writing outlines for these streams so that um, I can communicate my message more effectively. And so I don't forget to say something because I write down every main point that I want to cover. Um, and that's kind of I think that's making me, that I think that the higher effort level is making it harder for me to stream. And it's like, because just with this stream too, I've been like postponing the start time for multiple days. Um, because it is like a lot of work. Because in these streams, oh yeah, and here's what I was gonna say about the stream I was on yesterday. Wait, let me just check Clowntown's YouTube channel real quick. Um, yeah, he only has 2,000 subscribers, but in his live stream, there were over 50 people watching at the same time. Whereas in my streams, I usually have less than 10 people, 10 concurrent viewers. It's usually a single digit number. So his subscriber base seems a lot more interested and invested in his story. And Clowntown, he can talk a lot. He has a lot of information in his brain that he can talk about on live stream. Whereas, I constantly find myself stopping to think and repeating things I've said before and just not being able to think of the right words in the right sequence. Um, and then that makes me feel unsatisfied with the quality of my streams because I go like, oh, I think in my head, like, oh, if I start streaming, it's going to be so much work because I'm going to have to try so hard to not stop in the middle of the stream. And I have to make sure that every time I cough or sneeze or like clear my throat, I have to mute the mic and I have to like do all this to make the stream more professional and not make viewers drop off the stream. But I think that like if I'm gonna put that much effort into making sure that my stream is all clean and nice and tidy, I might as well actually make a real video because like uploaded videos, um, from what I've seen, YouTube promotes these videos way more than live streams. Like live streams pretty much don't even grow your YouTube channel. Um, so I think that I want to keep the quality of my streams low, and that's like a funny thing to say, but if I set the standard too high, if I set the standard too high, then it's gonna like streaming is gonna be stressful and it's gonna be a lot of work. And I want streaming to be sort of the calm side to my YouTube career because making the real videos and editing, like that's hard work and it takes a lot of focus and like my mind has to be sharp. But I want streams to be kind of more relaxed. So, and here's the other thing, like if I set the standard too high, I'm gonna be overly perfectionistic about the stream, so I'm gonna keep postponing it, um, time-wise. And if I'm unreliable with my promises, right? If I say that I'm gonna stream at a certain time, like 4 PM UTC, and then when that time comes, I don't stream, then you guys are, you guys are gonna think that I'm unreliable with the time thing, right? So then that'll cause fewer people to watch the streams, which will make the issue even worse. Because I want to get to the point that Clowntown's at when there's like 50 people watching his streams and he only has the same number of subscribers as me, right? And I think like one of the biggest mistakes that I've been making that make that not happen is just not following through with when I say that I'm going to stream. So I wanna keep these streams low quality so that I will stream so that I'll have no problem, like, no hangups with starting whenever I said I'm gonna start. And I think that that's, like, step 1 when it comes to streaming, like, I can work on the quality later. Cat, in yesterday's stream, the guy wearing the mask, I don't think he was DBDR, no. Like, yeah, he it didn't sound like him at all. Okay, yeah, Dre, that is a good point. One reason why Clowntown's stream had so many viewers is because he didn't upload a video in 5 months, so it attracted people who were awaiting his return. Um, yeah, but I feel like, the way that he presented his, well, his story overall and his character, his viewer base is they seem more interested and invested in him. Because I think that if I, like, left YouTube for 5 months, I don't think that even half as many people would watch a stream upon my return. Yeah, so I need to start, like, getting my shit together and streaming on time so that people don't lose faith in me, you know? Yeah, but, like, another reason that's, like, making me have, like, shit time management is weed. Just, like, smoking weed all the time. Um, so for instance, just, like, earlier today, let me check my calendar. Like, I actually track, like, all of my shit on my calendar because 'cause I'm trying to, like, get my shit together and, like, time management max to the max, right? So I had like a bunch of YouTube related and school related and also like career related stuff that I wanted to get done today. Like applying to internships, doing a project, making some shorts, like replying to messages, doing a lot of uh taking a lot of stuff off the to-do list, right? Um yeah, but this afternoon I thought that I could just like smoke some weed to relax. And let's see, for like the last 8 hours I have done absolutely nothing. I was asleep for most of that time. So I mean, like, I just smoke weed and end up not doing all of the things that I plan to do. So, yeah, but I can't I just really don't wanna stop, like, this is my cope, like, this makes life good, like, ah, I might have a problem, bro. Yeah, Bean is right. You gotta smoke after you get everything done. Yeah, before I started the stream, like, I really wanted to, avoid pauses like this, like long pauses where I don't say anything, but, I'm just really having a hard time, like, you know, collecting all my thoughts in my mind. Um, but it's like I don't want like I said, I don't wanna make these streams, like, too high effort because it's gonna stress me out, so, I'm just not gonna be so hard on myself and go like I'm gonna be like, it's okay if you pause for a long time to think on a live stream. It's okay if you like accidentally like cough when you're not muted. Like save all the stress and the effort for the main edited videos. Otherwise, live streaming is not going to be very therapeutic. Um, all right, so if you guys want to hear something black pilled, something that relates to the black pill experience, it's this. So this happened the other day. So I ran into this girl. Well, I'm in college right now, and last semester, well, in 2024, fall 2024, um, one of my roommates threw like a party slash kickback in our apartment, and in it, this girl and this like high tier normie slash Chad light were making out. Like they were all over each other. And I just ran into this girl like a few days ago, you know, um, she was like ordering some food and she got like 2 drinks and I asked her, "Oh, about why she got 2 drinks." And she says, that one's for her and one's for her boyfriend. And her boyfriend is the same guy who was making out with her at the party a few months ago. So, yeah, black pilled again, man. Like the normies are finding love while us inkies are rotting on black pill streams. Man. Ah, I mean, look, I just don't really get along with normies, and I feel like I have to be very like socially reserved when I'm around normies because most of the things that come to my mind that I want to say are just terrible things to say. Like for instance, my natural uninhibited reaction to hearing the news. from the girl would be like, "Oh man, your life is so cool. I wish I had a boyfriend too." Like I would say something like that, right? That's what I would say if I was just being completely like uninhibited and just expressing myself naturally. But socially, that's a terrible move because it just expresses like envy, insecurity, even a bit of bitterness and resentment. And it just makes you come across as very low value. So I don't say that. So I just told her like, "Oh, like that's really nice." Like, I just like stayed all positive and everything. And see like that's like I got social problems when it comes to me socializing that applies to like every interaction. It's not just with quote unquote normies IRL. Cause the stream that I streamed with Clowntown and Drayton yesterday, and on that stream, um, I was under the influence of cannabis, but the reason that I did that, I was not high at the beginning of that stream, but I just felt like I had nothing to contribute. Like I felt like my brain was empty the whole time. I just couldn't think of things to say that related to what Dre and Clown were talking about. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm just too inhibited. Maybe I need to loosen up, take off the edge. So I smoked a bit of weed and I got high and I pretty much just made an ass out of myself and came across as insincere and both the people on the stream and the people watching the stream just found me to be very annoying because I would constantly be blurting out things that didn't really mesh very well with what they just said. And this is like an issue that I have in real life too, because it's just really hard for me to come up with things to say that are actually like good moves on the chessboard. Like everything. Okay, so let's see. I got some slides that I wanted to present in this stream too. Slide PDFs. Here we go. So, I'm talking about the first point right now, first bullet point. So either my mind is just blank and I can't think of something to say that relates to what they're talking about. And when that happens, it's usually because I just don't have any knowledge about the subject. So that can be, well, not so easily remedied, but the solution is simple and straightforward, is to just learn about the topic. You know, because like my mind being completely empty and me being unable to engage with the conversation, it usually happens when I'm talking to people about like something that they're into that I don't know about, like a TV show or like a Netflix show that I've never watched that I know nothing about. Well, obviously my mind's going to be empty in such an interaction, right? So that's not really like a social skills related problem. But another problem is that I just sometimes I can think of a lot of possible responses to things that other people say in a conversation, and I think of these naturally, like, I don't have to force it. Like, all of these potential things that I can say just kind of pop up in my mind naturally, but they all suck. Like, in the context of the current interaction, they're all terrible moves. They're terrible chess moves. Um, let me see if I can think of some examples. Okay, whatever, guys. Fuck thinking of examples because I can't think of any examples right now. Um, gotta keep the stream under a certain time limit because like I've set up a screen time block on my PC to prevent me from using the computer at too late an hour at night, and that's just to help me maintain my sleep schedule. So gotta get going with the stream. Can't pause for too long. Oh man, there's so much shit I have to talk about, bro. All right, so sometimes I go to these like public events in a club at school. It's like a Christian club. Um well, it's not like super Christian. It's not like all that we talk about. It's kind of just like a club where people like come to hang out and chat and make friends, but they also talk about um things related to Christianity. And well, I'm not a Christian myself. I consider myself an agnostic. Um so well okay, so yeah, you know what this reminds me of? There's like reminds me of this like YouTube short where I don't know, it's like the top this YouTube short that's like the top 5 worst interactions with women, and like one of them was this guy who would just saying like, all right, 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 like, like that's what that guy was doing on that in that short, and I feel like that's what I'm doing right now, because yeah, I mean, like, okay, well, the first section of the stream is like the most annoying one to me, and once I get this over with, I think it's gonna be all smooth sailing from here. So, oh man, dude, there's so much fucking notes, man. Holy shit. See, I overplanned this stream, man. There's so much shit I want to talk about, and my brain really doesn't want to do anything right now, bro. Okay, so I went to their general meeting to, just converse and hang out with the Christians, and usually in these general meetings, like the group leaders have like a list of conversation topics for us to talk about that are related to Christianity. And well, today we were talking about like the weight of sin and like our personal experiences with sinning, and how we think and feel about like God and sinning, and being a good person and things like that. Um so when they were talking about the weight of sin, one person oh man, like my allergies are really bad these days, this time of year. Like I've tried Zyrtec, Claritin, and Allegra, but they don't seem to make my nose stop running, and I have like post-nasal drip, nasal congestion, just all sorts of problems, like my allergies really fucking suck. But that's neither here nor there. So the weight of sin, they were talking about the weight of sin, and one person said that something that I think is pretty based. They said that they try their best to be a good person, but they like but they often fall short. It's like that's how I paraphrase it. And like that reminds me of something that Andrew Wilson, who is like Christian conservative commentator on YouTube. Um kind of manosphere adjacent. He's been on the Whatever podcast. Andrew Wilson's he was debating Alex from Playing with Fire, and Alex was like surprised when well, Alex asked Andrew, you don't think you're a good person? And Andrew said, no. I try my best to be moral, but I constantly fall short. And Alex was surprised to hear that, right? And that's something that I think is actually pretty based about Christians. That makes them like they're more based in this area than secular people are. Because I feel like a lot of non-religious people think that they're good people just by not killing and like raping. Like as long as I'm not some evil crime committer, then I'm a good person, right? But it's like Christians hold themselves to a higher standard of morality, and they say that, and they say like, well, I'm trying to be a good person, but there's a lot of areas in which I'm going to fall short, and that's not that bad because I'm a human and we're not perfect. And I think that's actually kind of a based take, you know, because like here's my opinion on it. Like I think like good it is a label that you have to earn by being exceptional, just like strong or successful. Like you wouldn't say that the average man is strong or the average man is successful. It's like the top 10% of them are strong, or the top 10% of most successful. That's the group that you call successful. So I don't think that we should see it as like the average person is good, but only like people who really go above and beyond to sort of earn the title. Um, but that's okay. So see, like what I just said is something that I thought that I could say in the conversation in real life, but I just thought that it would be too opinionated, and I would just be like, I didn't want to like monologue the conversation, so I didn't say that. Well, another thing that I wanted to say, and this was addressing what the other person said about how they try their best to be a good person. I don't think that you do. I don't think you do because, like, here's the thought experiment that I thought of at the time, right? And I thought of this like a lot of times before, and I'm gonna use it in my YouTube videos. It's like an example that I'm gonna use, but um, so this example is like, so you think you're a good person because if you walk by a homeless person, you give them like $5. Okay, so you help people in need. Therefore, you're a good person. Now think about this. What if the homeless person was a 5-minute walk away? Like you're on your way to like fucking Starbucks or some shit. And you have but actually if you like turn to the left and walk 5 minutes, just walk like 2 blocks that way, then there's gonna be a homeless guy. Would you take the extra 5-10 minutes to walk that way to give money to the homeless guy? I don't think that you would. So, and that shows that like if you only would give money to the homeless guy when he happens to be like right next to your path, that means that you're only generous when it's convenient for you, which like I don't think that that's trying your best to be a good person, is it? Because if you how hard do you have to try to walk 5 minutes? To just take 5 minutes to just walk 2 blocks? How hard would that be? It's not really hard, right? And that's why I don't consider myself to be a good person. Like if I take a look at my behavior, like okay, well you can say fair enough. If someone tries to be a good person but they fall short, that's okay because no one's perfect. But when I look at my behavior, the only logical conclusion is that I am not a good person because I'm not trying to be a good person. Again, how hard is it to try to just walk 5 fucking minutes? It's like if you wouldn't do that to help someone, you don't actually care. You think you care, but you don't. And that's something that I wanted to say in that conversation with the Christians in real life. That's something that I wanted to bring up, but I didn't say it because if I did, I could only say it in like an offensive or confrontational way. I don't really know how to phrase it in a way that's not going to come off as overly disagreeable. So, Well, let's make that full screen there. Um, oh yeah, no, and here's another thing. When they were talking about the weight of sin, like something that does affect me like is is how I find how I feel like there's this tension between being good and being happy. It's like the guy who cheats gets good grades in school without having to like put in a lot of time to do his homework and study, right? So that cheater has a better quality of life than the non-cheater because the non-cheater, like, he has less free time. So the non-cheater is spending 8 hours to write his essay, whereas the cheater uses ChatGPT and only spends 1 hour, and the rest 7 hours he can spend playing video games, playing sports, hanging out with friends, going to parties, right? So, this is what I wanted to say in that conversation in real life about the weight of sin. It's like I'm constantly being bothered by the fact that I see that being good doesn't pay off, and I see that people who do bad things like cheating in school, um, they're the ones who just seem to live better lives. And so like the question is like, how feasible is it to be both good and happy? Like there seems to be kind of a trade-off between the two. But I didn't want to say this out loud in real life because then um, the people in the social circle would think that I don't know. I was afraid that they would see me as overly cynical or a bad person. So, like, all of this stuff there is to say that there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to say in that conversation because that's a conversation about a topic that I actually do relate to. Um, but like none of these things were like good moves, good social moves. Because, like, expressing any of these thoughts would always reveal some negative character trait about me that would make people not like me, or it would just make people uncomfortable in general, or it would just not harmonize with the vibe of the conversation. Something else they talked about was why you are a Christian, and I think it's like there's a pretty important distinction between the two kinds of why, because you could interpret the question as like, well, what are my personal justifications for being a Christian? Like, why do I believe um, that what I believe is true, right? So people have their personal reasons for that, but there's also another kind of why, and it's the why that's used in social science when you're looking at a group of people from like a third party perspective, and that why is like looking at external factors like environmental influences that caused you to be a Christian. And like the most common why of the second type is just that your parents were Christian and that you grew up Christian. That's why you're Christian. Um, Now, because I'm not a Christian, because I'm agnostic, when these people, when in this social interaction, someone brings up the question, "Why are you a Christian?" I don't have an answer for the first time for like the first kind of why. Like my personal reasons for belief, my personal reasons for following the Bible because well, I don't. But what about the second why? Why am I hanging out in a club with Christians? Why am I not in a club with Muslims instead? And the answer to this is that it's just the most popular religion in my location. Which is like it's a very superficial reason for choosing a particular religion. And I didn't say this in real life because um it would expose that fact, right? Um, but man, it's like, dude, I come crawling back to YouTube to speak to a very fringe audience because I can't say these things to the people I talk to in real life. And I kind of want to break out of this sort of like situation, because it is like a pretty bad social habit to like go into a conversation in real life and just like constantly just mentally taking note of things that you're gonna say on YouTube because you don't want to say them in real life. As you're listening to other people talking in this social circle, you're going like, "Oh, okay, I got an idea for something I'm gonna say in the video, but I can't say in real life. Okay, okay, I'm gonna take note." It's like, dude, this makes you very detached from the interaction, and it's just like it's not a very good social habit, and I want to break it. But man, I'm having a harder and harder time because I feel like I'm having a more and more difficult time vibing with and being accepted by normies. Like my social life is getting harder, even though my social skills seem to be improving. So I don't know how much of that is a delusion. Accusal being says it's a terrible reason. Yeah, it is a terrible reason. But as someone like I'm someone who has not had any religion in my upbringing. Like I never went to church when I was a kid. Like I just didn't grow up religious. So and I am kind of open to the possibility of like I actually want to become spiritual because like this is something that people learn in even Psych 101. It really is common knowledge that religion is one of the things that improves your mental health. So I want to incorporate some spirituality into my life eventually, but there are a lot of sort of organizations on a college campus that could serve this role. And like honestly, the only reason that I chose the Christian club, well, it's not like the Christian club. It's just a club that is, made up of Christians. But the only reason that I chose this is because Christianity happens to be the most popular religion in the US, which that is true. It's a terrible reason, but because like if you think about it, if I was born in India and if hypothetically I was not religious and I was in India and I was looking to become spiritual, I would probably pick Hindu as the religion of choice, right? It's just like defaulting to the most popular one geographically. Very superficial reason. I'm definitely not going to tell them that that's why I chose the club. This is a good point, Krellian. You can't force authentic spirituality, and this is one of the hangups that I had during the conversation with them. So they also brought up like the ranking of sinfulness because they wanted to discuss like y- you know do you think that there exists like a hierarchy to the sins? So he said like which one's worse, lying or disbelieving? And I think it definitely depends on the context and depends on the situation, but like on average you could say that one of them is worse than the other, right? And well they brought up disbelieving, and that made me like think about like the roots of your Christian belief, and that connects to their question. Like also when they asked why are you Christian, it made me think about like the roots of their Christian belief, because these guys, these normies that I'm talking to, they clearly have a very different foundation, like emotionally. Um, and like they believe what they do because they have like a base of love and faith, and positivity and optimism. Like their belief in the reason they believe in God is not any of these arguments that you might hear on YouTube of like, oh, the Kalam cosmological argument. Everything that has a cause, like oh, everything in the universe has a cause. So like the universe has to have a cause. It's like all of these philosophical arguments are not why they believe in what they do. It's because they have a foundation of faith that I lack. Because I lack that faith, that's why I'm so black pilled. That's why my worldview is very cynical and negative in the eyes of these normies. And as long as I continue to lack this foundation of faith, like all of these arguments, it's like, oh, the watchmaker, oh, the fine tuning argument from fine tuning, oh, the ontological argument, like all of that stuff is cope. All of that stuff is not going to give me the spirituality that I'm trying to get, because I just don't have that love in my brain. I don't have that faith. Like I don't have that positivity. Like, and that's always going to be like a roadblock to this whole spirituality deal. Yeah, so in a nutshell, I think like the root of Christian belief, or any religious belief, it needs to come from faith, like a very strong, deep-seated sort of faith foundation in your mind, and not from these logical arguments by philosophers. And that's why, like, having a religious upbringing is so important for allowing you to believe in the first place. But enough about religion. I'm just gonna finish up the part about social life because it's really taken a fucking long time. Um, um, okay, so I think this is, well, everyone kind of knows this, but some things are best left unsaid in like everyday social interactions, like except for like the people that you're very, very close to, the things that I've mentioned in this stream, like talking about how I don't feel motivated to be a good person because all I see are bad people getting ahead in life. How I feel it's a dog eat dog world, how I feel envy towards people who have romantic relationships. Like all of this stuff, it's best left unsaid in real life. Like save that for the therapist's office, you know? Um, but it like sucks. It sucks that I can only talk about that kind of stuff in like in therapy, because like therapists are paid to like listen to you and to listen to you talk about your problems. So like it doesn't feel like I'm building a genuine connection if I'm going to a professional and like just to open up about these things, because I can't open up about them to anyone else in real life, you know? Because I just want to be friends with people who will like accept me expressing my true thoughts. You know, I want to be friends with people who I don't have to mask and fake and hide my true self around, you know? And like I don't want the only person who I can get that with to be like someone who's paid to give you a simulation of that. Right? Well, about therapy too, it's like black pillars, a lot of black pillars are reluctant to go to therapy and they reject therapy. Because they don't want, because they don't want to change their minds, right? Because they know that black pill is the truth, and they think that if they go to therapy, then therapists are going to try to change their views to be more blue pilled. And they say that that's cope, that's cucked, and I'm not gonna pay to brainwash myself into a sheep. But it's like, to these people, I say like, do you want to play the game or do you want to check out and go your own way? Because like the harsh reality is, you can't afford to think too differently if you decide to play the game. Because adaptation is just so important. So as an analogy, maybe someone might think that humans would be cooler if they evolved to have tails. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we evolved to have like wings or some shit? Um, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we were like 20 feet tall or something? It's like some. wouldn't it be cool if humans were the size of dinosaurs or some shit like this, right? It's like, yeah, I guess that would be cool in your imagination, but it's not adapted to the current environment, right? So like these black pillars, they think it's really bad that therapy tries to, because well, this also like it relates to like the social model of disability, or how you only see something as a disability or a disorder because it isn't the norm in the society, right? And if society was different, maybe this thing might not be considered a disorder or a disability, right? But it's like black pillars don't want to conform to become a normie sheep, but I feel like that literally is like thinking and feeling and seeing the world the same way that the people around you do is like the best thing that you could have for your mindset. Literally the best thing, like the most important trait of your mindset is not like, oh, how hard is it? You know, it's like, oh, do you have the Sigma grind set? Do you have the abundance mindset? It's like, no, like number one most important trait for your mindset is that it needs to harmonize with whatever other people are also thinking. Because if it's too different, it doesn't matter how fucking cool it would be in your imagination. Like you're gonna be lonely as fuck. And like I want to change. Like I want to change my brain into a blue pill brain. You know, like I want to seek out spirituality not only for the direct mental health benefits, but also because it would allow me to experience community with other people who are spiritual. You know, because I feel like that's like a way to form these bonds. A very good way to form these bonds. But see, like I haven't been going to therapy. Like I don't feel ready to go to therapy because I'm not willing to change my views. Like honestly, I'm not. Like I don't go to therapy for, the same reason that a lot of other black pillars don't. Is like I know that the therapist is just gonna try to blue pill me, and I'm gonna end up disagreeing with them, and eventually maybe the therapist is gonna tell me, you know, that they can't help me because I'm just too stubborn to change. Like, and I would hate to be told this. Like, it would fucking hurt so much to hear this, right? So I'm not gonna go to therapy until I feel like my beliefs can actually be changed, but I don't know when that's ever gonna happen, you know? But, like maybe this social group, this group of Christians, it might not be a good fit for me, like I guess I shouldn't put all my eggs in one basket. I guess I should, try to meet new people more. Because I do tend to like put all my eggs in one basket socially a lot. If I just like meet a group of people that I sort of barely get along with, or barely enjoy talking to, then I'm just gonna stop meeting new people, and I'm just gonna try to like socialize the best I can with this like existing group of people, right? But I gotta like cast a wide net, to find people who I'm compatible with, and not just like go all in on these particular Christians. Mm. This is an important thing that Krillian brought up. You can still play the game while black pills, just go through the motions. The problem is I fucking hate going through the motions. Okay, I really got to pick up the stream. So holy shit, man. Really don't have much time left. Let's talk about social dissonance and disharmony. So when one does not share the common mental foundations, like the common beliefs and the mindset of the society that you're in, then you won't be socially compatible and accepted by the vast majority of people. So an example of this is like nations that are very heavily Islamic. If you are not a Muslim, if you do not follow the teachings of Islam, the core principles and tenets of Islam, then you're just socially it's finished for you. Like you're not going to get along. You're not going to be accepted by like um like all of the other people who do live according to Islam, right? And well, the United States, like the West, is not like that because like the religious distribution is very like diverse in the West, and lots of people are not religious in the West. So, like in the U.S., the sort of mental foundation that you need to have in order to be accepted by most people it's not like believing in a certain religion, but there always is something. There always is something that you have to have in common with other people. And I feel like in America, that is positivity and optimism. Like I feel like if you lack positivity and optimism and you express your lack of these things to other people, you will be very, very unliked, especially in like a culture like America. So I feel like my social tendencies are very, very disharmonious with other people. And an example of this, um, if any of you guys are familiar with the movie The Social Network, I think it was like a 2010 or 2009 movie about the creation of Facebook. And the character Mark Zuckerberg in the movie, and Mark Zuckerberg in real life is not like this, but in the movie, okay, well, actually, I don't want to spoil any part of the movie, but I'll just say this: a lot of people find the Mark Zuckerberg character in the Social Network very unlikable. Like a lot of people think that he's like the epitome of an unlikable character, but I find him to be very likable, specifically for being the way that he is. So um, the character traits that make other people find someone to be unlikable or an asshole are character traits that I actually find appealing and make me want to hang out with someone more. So this is like my brain is very, very out of sync with other people in this way. And okay, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. And so lately, the way that I socialize, I'm very agreeable. I'm also very reserved. Like I don't really speak my mind. I don't speak my mind as much as I used to. And I started to really get more shy and reserved after this incident happened with like a school LGBT club a few years back. So um and this was like the last time that I spoke my mind and disagreed with the majority in real life. And this made me learn just how punishing it is socially and how standing up for what you believe in is a cope. So I was in a meeting with the LGBT club of the school, and what had just happened is the school newspaper published an article about trans people, and it was kind of like a center right, maybe just like a centrist, maybe slightly conservative view on like trans healthcare. And well, the thing is that the left seems to deem everything that the right says about trans people transphobic, and I don't agree with that. Like pretty much everyone else in the LGBT club was saying the article is transphobic and it should be taken down. It should be removed from the newspaper. It should have never been published. And I didn't think that it was transphobic. But not only that, I fundamentally disagreed with them on what the school newspaper should be. So they said that because they believed that the article was transphobic, it should be retracted from publication. It should be taken off of the newspaper. But then I disagreed and I said, well, look, I don't think that I don't want to see the school newspaper turn into a left-wing publication. Like, I think that the opinion section of the school newspaper, it should be a place not only for the trans intersectional feminist to speak their mind, but also for the Ben Shapiros and the Matt Walshes of the school to publish their opinions. Like, we can make the LGBT club like a left-leaning, like very progressive, safe space, right? I don't think that the school newspaper should be like that. The school newspaper should be, right down the middle, not leaning to the left or to the right. And I want like the speech on that school newspaper to be as free as possible, particularly in the opinion section. So like that's not all that I said, but that's some of it, some of what I said. And well, saying this got me a warning and got me temporarily banned from the LGBT club. So I had to meet with the officers, the leaders of the club, and they gave me a warning about what kinds of things that you're not allowed to say in these meetings, because they might offend people, they might make people uncomfortable. So I agreed to not say anything controversial in that club ever again. See, like disagreeing, people online portray it as like a Chad move. Like, oh, you're being so assertive as a man because you're standing up for what you believe in. I mean, there's like a time and place for that, and that time and place I think is very, very rare. Most of the time when you do that, it will just like tank your social um acceptability. The more attractive you are, the more you can get away with being negative. Yep. Something here's like the real final nail in the coffin. I fundamentally disagree with most people on the topic of fundamental disagreements. Because a lot of people, I think most people, would refuse to be friends with someone whose morals they disagree with. But I really wouldn't mind. So like I constantly find myself in a situation, well, not anymore because I don't speak my mind anymore. But back in the days when I used to speak my mind years ago, I would frequently find myself in this situation where someone didn't want to be friends with me because they didn't approve of the way that I thought and the things that I said. And I wasn't the type of person that they wanted to associate with. But even though I strongly disagreed with their views, I didn't mind continuing to associate with them because like the way that I deal with things is a lot more compartmentalized, whereas like most people are more holistic. So all of these are examples of just like social dissonance and disharmony. Um, maybe some neurodivergence. Okay, well, we really have to move on. So, third bullet point is bad social habits, and you know, I exhibited lots of bad social habits in my last stream that I was on. The last stream I was on with Drayton in Clowntown. Um, a lot of bad social habits in the last stream, but I'm not really gonna repeat myself in this one. A really bad social habit that I have in real life. This is a habit that I forced myself to break, but my social life is actually worse. Okay, well, I'll explain everything. So, in starting like in middle school, in high school, I would constantly talk about getting girls. Um, that was like my crutch socially. My go-to conversation topic was talking about getting girls, talking about the girls that I had crushes on, the girls that I wanted to be my girlfriend, about self-improvement, like going to the gym, like doing like cold approaching, talking about everything to do with getting women. And I guess I developed this crutch because it's a very easy it, it's a topic of conversation that appeals to 95% of men. So it's like a very easy go-to to small talk, to just generate small talk with any man, like basically 95% of men. But so well, I started presenting more femininely um in uh in recent times. Um so I ended up having to stop relying on this crutch. So nowadays I don't talk about like getting girls anymore, especially since like people have given me feedback and they've told me that when I used to talk like that, I came across as very douchey and like as if I was the type of guy to just hit on everyone, like hitting on everyone, kind of like douchey, creepy. Yeah, so I don't do that anymore. But since I stopped talking about getting girls, since I stopped using the topic of getting girls as my go-to conversation topic, 80% of what I talk about is gone. Just gone. Like it's fucking insane how much I fucking relied on this crutch like a few years ago. Because in my freshman year of college, like I tagged along with a group of friends from high school and we went to an amusement park. And like we went to a party afterwards. And most of the time, like I could say like probably 70% of the words that came out of my mouth had something to do with trying to get girls. Like talking about how I'm looking forward to finally getting laid. It's like it's such a bad move socially. And like I'm kind of like announcing to everyone that I'm an incel, demonstrating low value, just constantly talking about the same thing. But it was useful because like the week after that happened, the day that we went to the theme park, I went to a different party, and this party was like it's like one of those. I wasn't invited to parties, guys. Like these are these college parties that are like publicly posted on the social media, and it's like a $10 for guys, $5 for girls. It's like these parties, okay? So no, I'm not social mogging you by going to parties. But I went to one, and I got to know two guys at the party. And the only reason like, the only way that I got to, you know, build some rapport with these 2 guys is by talking about something that we as guys all have in common, which is a desire to get girls. So it worked. Like, back then, when I would constantly talk about getting girls, when I would use this to start every conversation, I could actually talk to guys. But now, I just talk way less than I used to, and I find it way harder to relate to people in general because I'm not using this crutch anymore. And this I think in the long run, it obviously is a good thing. Because even though it's hurting my social life now, it's about time that I learn to socialize properly and not rely on this crutch anymore. So, like it's all for the best. Really is all for the best. Another social bad habit I have is using and this is something that I developed just in like the last few years, is making black pill my small talk. Wait a minute, I just need to check something real quick. Yeah, so a social bad habit that I acquired over the last few years is making black pill and inceldom my small talk. So, I mean, like, I can talk to people about like a wide variety of topics, you know, like current events, politics, and talk about like books, movies, philosophy, social relationships. We can talk about like our feelings. We can talk about spirituality. There's a lot of things that we can talk about, right? But small talk, like sometimes people talk about the weather or the sports game or something that might not be super important to them, just as a vehicle to kind of build a social connection. And I recently realized that I've been doing this with black pill. Because black pill to me used to not be small talk when it was still new information to me. So when I was first getting into the black pill, I would have these like serious conversations, like these long discussions with people about black pill, about looks and about how like lookism in society and like the importance of genetics and stuff like that. But like I've been in the black pill community for like 5 years, and black pill is not new information to me. But I started to pick up this habit of using black pill as small talk. So, like when I would, and I do this every time I talk to someone new on Discord. Like I add a friend who's in like a black pill server that we're both in, and like my opening message is like, "Hey, what's up? I'm an inkwell just like you," or "What's up, man? How's life? Are you a KHHV? Like, what's your height?" It's like the small talk that I would use to get to know people to sort of just kind of ease into the conversation. It's black pill. And this habit obviously is not good for hanging out with normies. Holy shit, man! I really should have started streaming earlier, or I should have scheduled this stream for tomorrow because I'm about to run out of time and my fucking like my computer is about to block Google Chrome because well I did this to myself because I really had to take extreme measures to get my sleep schedule back into shape. So man, I have like half an hour left on this stream and like we're barely like a third of the way through. Okay, last point, I'm gonna cover it really quick. So I've noticed some like a common sentiment in the black pill community that normies are dumb, that normies don't have any original thoughts, they say. Like this is where black pillars and we just don't see eye to eye because a lot of black pillars seem to like look down on normies and they see them as like intellectually inferior or something. I don't agree with that. Um, like when I talk to normies, I'm usually like amazed by what their brains can do. It's like the amount of information that they have and the amount of their ability to articulate all of this information and to connect it to all to each other is really really astounding. Like in an average normie conversation that I'm with, like IRL, let's say like a conversation in a group of like 5 people. Oh, sorry about that, guys, man. My allergies are really kind of shit lately. So, in like a typical conversation, like everyday normal conversation in a group of like 5 friends that I would find myself in, they would like jump from topic to topic, talking about like something from referencing some meme, and then referencing something from a TV show, and then talking about this fucking restaurant, and then talking about this thing that their parents did, this thing that they did with their friends. Um, like how oh, I stayed in this Airbnb in this city, over the weekend and we went to the beach and then they can talk about like stuff that relates to that and talk about, like a lot there's just so much knowledge in their brain because and they can talk about it's like and in like the more advanced classes in school, like the more insane this is because one time when I was in high school, it's like maybe like 7 people in the class. And this was like an AP physics class, and they were having a conversation. And it's like, man, it's like someone was talking about um like TPing a house, and then they somehow connected the conversation to like Barack Obama's book. Um, books. Which one was it, bro? I think. Well, Barack Obama wrote like lots of books, but I forgot which one it was, man. But they were talking about like one of Barack Obama's books, and they were like, s- and then they were like talking about some um I don't know. I guess there was some like fucking philosophy in there. There was some politics. I mean, there. I get some of the. I think someone was talking about like a fucking monarchy or some shit. It's like, dude, in these, especially in these environments, like academically advanced classes, but not only in these, like just with like everyday normal people, the amount of different stuff that they know is insane. Like I'm amazed at how much knowledge they have about all of these topics and how they can interconnect them in a conversation at fucking lightning speed. It's actually fucking amazing. And like I'm really out of the loop. Like the saying, the popular saying, "Oh, have you been living under a rock?" Well, I have been living under a rock. Because like, okay, so normies have a bunch of information that I don't have. The average person n- knows so it's like, dude, I have never watched Netflix in my life. I don't have a TikTok account. I also don't know anything about like even like politics, current events. Can I name like one executive order that Trump signed? Well, maybe like one. It's like I don't even look, I don't know. Can I explain Obamacare? Can I explain the Affordable Care Act? I can't. Well, I know that it's like there's something in that act that says that you can stay on your parents' health insurance until like 26. Um there's something about it to do with pre-existing conditions. Yeah, like do I have an opinion on like Bush and like the wars in the Middle East? No, because I don't fucking know anything about them. Like the you see, it's like these things that like everyone in my fucking country knows I don't know, right? And it's like everyone in my sort of nearby social circle, they know about all of these local places and like they have a bunch of memories about, spending time with their friends in at these places, you know, I don't have any of these local memories either, so it's just like it's just like a complete disconnect of knowledge. Um, like the most common reason that I don't get along with people in real life is that I just don't know anything about what they're talking about. And the second most common reason is that everything that I can think of is just very bad, like a bad move socially. So because I have been living under a rock, in order for me to catch up to the normies in terms of like how much knowledge I have, like I would have to I'm basically multiple university courses worth of information behind. Like in order for me to catch up to normies in how much they know about, pop culture, how much they know about things in the world, I would have to like learn the equivalent of like 5 university courses worth of information. It's like, dude, like normies, man, they sure know a lot of stuff and they can recall that stuff at fucking lightning speed. It's actually amazing. Okay, guys, we have to fucking move. Holy shit, holy shit. All right, so remember what I said on the stream just now about how I hate going through the motions. Well, okay. Well, the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to like finding work and career maxing is it's like there's going to be quite a learning curve. There's going to be quite um a bit of friction when it comes to the mindset shift that I have to make um because I still have like that young mindset, that immature mindset where I see like, going out and getting laid and partying and like being a free spirit and, like underage substance use. I see like shit like this as a lifestyle to strive for. Um, oh man, these fucking allergies, dude. Like so the kinds of lifestyles that I see as like ideal, the kind of life that I want to live. Like work is not a part of that sort of conception. It's not a part of that image in my mind. Like I want to be the type of person who's like going to parties all the time, like having a ton of friends, just having new experiences all the time, has a great love life. Work is not part of this. And that needs to kind of change. That needs to actually really change, not kinda. So like my whole life so far, I've only strived to be like a type B person, like someone who's laid back, not super like focused on being productive. But look, I got surgeries to save up for. Okay. I got goals I want to achieve. And it's dawned on me that I have to change and become more like a type A person. The type of person who is really motivated to be productive, gets up early, puts in a lot of work, is very disciplined, um, more serious. I think I need to change and become more like that in order to achieve what I want, to get financially in a timely manner. So that's gonna be quite a mental transition and a lifestyle transition because I've never worked before, never had a job before, and it's about time that I grow out of this like stereotype based like free spirit versus boring work cuck mindset. Because I kind of have this dichotomy in my head where it's like on one hand there's this person who doesn't make work an important part of their life and they're free spirited, they're going to the parties, they're like fucking hotboxing in the car and having a good time with their friends. And on the other side of the spectrum, there's the 30-year-old work cuck. This 30-year-old guy who just gets up at 7 a.m. and goes and like shaves, puts on his slacks, gets in his fucking like Honda and like goes to the office, sits on his ass for 8 hours that day, typing on his computer. He eats like a shitty sandwich for lunch. It's like I would hate to live a life that embodies that work cuck life because it's just very boring and there's like no personality. There's no like zest to that life. But it is overly reductive, I think, because there's plenty of people who have successful careers and are, interesting people who are fun with personalities. Like you don't have to really lose who you are just to be good at working. but I still kind of feel that way. I feel like I kind of worry that if I that once I start working, I might lose that free-spirited part of me. I'll just like see how it goes. Okay, so let's move on. This part is like, man, this is like the biggest like sort of distress causing thing when it comes to like job searching that I feel right now. Because dude, I hate going through the motions. I fucking hate going through the motions. Um, in order to pass a job interview, I must lie. I must present a version of myself that is not true. That is not me. That's not how I want to live my life. You know, like I'd rather have like 10 5-year careers than one 50-year career. Like I'd rather I don't want like a stable job. I want to constantly be hopping from job to job. That's literally ideal for me. I want to like work like a 2-year contract and then just live off my savings for like the next 3 years before I find a job again. Oh fuck, man. I hate this. I'm fucking sneezing so much. This is not a good. Oh man, bad timing for a stream, bro. These fucking allergies. So like in interviews, I have to present myself as if I have to portray myself as like I have to put on this fake mask and pretend to be someone who wants to be working all the time, someone who actually cares about the company, someone who aspires to become a manager one day. Dude, you know what I want from a job? Low responsibility. But I have to, but if I say that, then no one's gonna hire me. So I have to pretend that I actually aspire to take on more responsibility one day. Like, if the interviewer asks, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I need to say, "Oh, I see myself becoming the manager of this company." It's like, dude, if I'm honest, the answer to that question is, in 5 years, I hope I'm not fucking working here. Okay? I don't wanna work at the same place for a very long time. In 5 years, I'm not gonna be here, dude. But, like, it sucks because I feel like I even have to hide the way I feel from my other coworkers the entire time that I'm at the job. Cause like, just in case if I tell one of my coworkers how I feel, maybe that information could find its way to my boss and fuck me over, so gotta play it safe and just keep it all to myself, which is gonna be fucking painful. Man, my fucking eyes hurt, bro. Alright, guys, I'm just gonna get this fucking stream over with. I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna respond to the chat, like, I'm gonna keep that to the minimum because I really wanna focus on getting through the slides first, and then I'll just respond to, like, a few chat messages. Okay, so I also have these some, like, ethical or ideological hangups when it comes to working for companies such as, the FANG companies, the big tech companies. Landing a job at a FANG company, like, is a career-wise, and financially speaking, it's a huge dream of mine, but ideologically, I'm not very passionate about it. And I think a lot of people experience something like this, like ethical or ideological hangups relating to their careers. Especially like careers like being in the military. Maybe you're a soldier and you killed a man and you feel, you know, man, it's like you feel like a very, very heavy weight that I cannot I'm not gonna pretend to know how that feels, man. But it's like imagine if you're like if you're in the military and like your job is to be the guy who's like coordinating a drone strike, or like you're the guy who's like making the bomb. It is only natural to feel a certain way to feel some sort of like ethical doubts about, like, I don't know if I really should be doing this job. Or maybe someone who has a job like a factory farm handler, like the guy who's handling the chickens in the farm. Because like if you guys didn't know, like in a lot of farms, like male chicks, they're just like killed. They're just like shredded to pieces because they have no like economic use. Because we're talking about farms where it's like laying eggs, so like they only need the female chicks, so they just kill all the male chicks. It's fucking brutal. It's like I totally understand. Like it makes sense. Like there are a lot of people out there who probably would feel a certain way about their job. Um, and I feel this way as well, but it's like I have weird ideological hangups. And that's because of my fringe black pill ideology. Like I have like a moral hang up for working for Tinder as a developer. Like for instance, let's say that I'm tasked to design the UI of a website for a nightclub. Like I wouldn't want to benefit the nightclub. Like actually, what I would actually like to see happen is to see the nightclub's website's SEO get destroyed so that fewer people go to the club and get laid. Like I don't want to improve the website to get more people to go to the club and get laid. I don't want to like, make Tinder's database more efficient to like to help Tinder get more Chads and Stacy's laid. Like I would like to see these technologies actually go to shit. So like I'm ideologically opposed to stuff that I want to do in the tech industry. Um and it's like when it comes to things like working for Instagram or TikTok or Meta, like they definitely fire me if they knew how I truly felt about their platform. Like even if they just find out about my YouTube channel, I'm fucked. I'm fucking cooked. Yeah, and I also have to give up on my preferred lifestyle of like working for like 2 years and then taking 2 years off, just living on savings and traveling and shit. And then like working for a little bit of time and then because like job hopping and large gaps between jobs are big red flags that employers look out for. So if I live the way I want to live, like working jobs for very short periods of time with lots of space in between jobs, hopping from job to job, taking lots of time off of work, just living off of savings, no one will hire me because they don't like they always ask about like resume gaps, like companies want to weed out people who don't want to be working for them all the time. So and because of that, I don't want my resume to go to shit, right? And I also don't want to have to just lie through my teeth on my resume. So I'm gonna have to keep a job and be working all the time. I'm not gonna be able to take the breaks that I want, you know, like I'm not gonna be able to live my dream lifestyle of like cycling on and off work just because I have to not have any gaps on my resume. because if I do, then I'm not gonna get hired again. So that fucking sucks. Oh, holy shit, dude! I have like 12 minutes left. Holy fuck, fuck, fuck. Okay, guys. I'm running an online study that you can do. Right now, it's about 5 minutes, and I'm not gonna explain it on the stream, but you're gonna like there are instructions on the website. So I just posted the link to this study in the chat, and I'd really appreciate if you participate because we want as many samples, as many data samples as possible to so that I can eventually publish the results on YouTube. So well, that's all for this study, guys. All right, section 3, and this is what I want in a career or a line of work. Um, fuck, bro, I have like 10 minutes left, man. Absolute fucking bullshit. Fuck. Okay, you know what, guys? I think I'm gonna call the stream here, and I'm going to cover that there are two more sections of the stream left. It's what I want in a career or a line of work, and there's going to be the final section, and that will be about entrepreneurship. So that's going to be in part 2. I'm going to save those for part 2 because I really want to take more time to go in depth in these sections, and I don't want to rush it. So I'm going to call the stream now. And I got 10 minutes left to respond to chat messages, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Hey, Turby. Hope you're doing well from yesterday's live. Yeah. What's up, man? Um, oh dang. Hey, yeah, there's a link to my Discord server in the about section of the channel. Where do you talk to most people? Right now, where I talk to most people is just like public events or club meetings that take place on my college campus. Religion is bullshit. Don't waste your time with that bullshit. I already introduce you to real spirituality. Okay. Turbo gonna become a Christian aesthetic monk. Church maxing arc. Yeah, dude, like mindset really matters. Like it's like it's really obvious that it's super important because it's like you can have like all the looks and the social skills. I mean, I guess that would actually get you far. That's like not really the right way to put it, but like the most the what sort of thing what thing would help you like socialize in churches the best? Is it being good looking? Is it having a confident voice? Is it like standing up straight? Is it holding frame? Is it having money? No, it's none of those things. In a church, the most important thing that will get you like ahead the greatest amount is believing in the religion of the church. I mean, that's obvious, but like if you don't believe what they believe and you're also bad at faking it, socially you will get nowhere. You will get nowhere socially. Hinduism is way better than Christianity. Isn't Turbo bi? Yeah, I'm bi. They're brainwashed. It's more like BP dispels any faith. The foundation is just a brainwashed upbringing or positive confirmation bias. Oh yeah, that is a big one. It's like, oh, the positive confirmation bias of religious copers. Like I just can't wrap my head around it, man. How they like when something good happens to them that's out of their control, they say, "Oh, God did it." Right? That's like the positive confirmation bias and saying, "Oh, see? Look, like good things keep happening in my life. It must be God." And like when bad things happen, when there's like an accident, then God works in mysterious ways, I guess. You know, bro, you have to lie on your resume and be a somewhat bad person to get ahead in the workplace. Yeah, dude, that sucks, man. It's like to what extent can you really be a good person and a happy person? I know that I think that extent is unfortunately very limited. Why do we have to not mask ourselves? Aren't Eastern societies accepting of wearing a public facing mask? Yeah. Therapists don't want to change their mind too. Yeah, they don't. You can have a genuine spiritual experience with a pagan god. Breathe very slowly in a pitch black room and chant okay, bro. Oh, well, the more attractive you are, the more you can get away with being negative. Yeah. Trying to fit in with normies is futile. Well, that depends on your goals. Like, do you want to play the game or do you want to check out and not care about your success? If you want to play the game and if you want to win the game, then you got to do what it takes. Why bro's voice sound different? Oh, I just have allergies. Like, yeah, just allergies. In part two, continue the stream when I'm breathing a lot better. Because right now, bro, I'm really not in the mood and I don't have time either. People with little morals don't even consider embellishing during interviews as lying. Yeah, I mean, people who have that dog eat dog mindset, right? That helps them in their careers. They think they're honest and have good character. Yeah, I mean, some one thing that's gonna help you have be happier in life is just having lower standards. if you think if you think that like if you have low moral standards for yourself, then you're never gonna think that you're a bad person, and then you're always gonna be happy with who you are and what you do. Ugh, everyone has to do that if they want a job. Yeah, unfortunately, they kind of do. Lying is ND people's bread and butter. Yep. Male chicks hatch shredded chicken nuggets. Yeah, that's very sad. Yeah. Please participate in the study, guys. Working destroys your soul. Agree. The BP holds true in churches too. Most Christians are looks matched. Yeah, I mean the BP never stops being relevant anywhere. It's just that it's not like looks don't matter anywhere, but it's like in a lot of places there are a lot of things that matter more. Jay Edgerton says you can't fool them. Yeah, you can't. I mean, some people are really good at faking it till they make it, and like they they should go to Hollywood and become actors or go to fucking Vegas and play poker because they can fucking hide how they feel from their face, right? I can't do that. I can't do that. Like everyone sees through the ruse, man. All right, I think that's this is gonna be it for the stream. Um, part two is coming soon, so I'll see you guys in part two. Thanks for watching.